It goes without saying that when dealing with the pilot episodes of TV shows and cartoons, there's a degree of experimentation that goes on with them. The writers try out stuff to see what sticks, and the elements that don't quite work get weaved out as the show goes on. Some examples include the first episode of Captain and the Game Master, where Kevin Zapper and Power Pad run out of energy, which is why he has that green bar at the top of his NES controller. They never followed up on that idea, and so it pretty much became just decoration in consequent episodes. And how about the first episode of the Mega Man cartoon, where Roll had her own sidekick, a little Met called Doc, whom we never see in any other episode. And indeed, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was no different. The pilot episode of the series, as I've explained in a few prior review videos of the show, is the Diamond Ray of Disappearance, episode MU004. The fact that its production code places it as the fourth episode is a little confusing, because the production code only means that it was the fourth episode script, approved for production. But it's very clearly supposed to take place before all other episodes. This caused a lot of confusion when the series was first put on home media. However, it seems to me that the American box set organized the episodes chronologically as opposed to by production code, which is nice because it also fixes the positions of Orko's favorite uncle and Return of Orko's uncle, which were also approved in the incorrect order. I do wonder though where they placed Rainbow Warrior. At any rate, what about these pilot one-off elements? Well, from a general production point of view, you will notice that this episode is a little rough around the edges. There's a lot of iconic musical cues that are missing, and even the audio recordings sound a bit grainier than usual, but those are maybe a little too subtle. So let's take a bit of a closer look at some more clear individual elements. Firstly, there's the teleporter, which Skeletor uses to summon the members of the Council of Evil to Snake Mountain. People have speculated that this was just a contrivance to introduce the villains one by one as a type of advertisement for the toys. Indeed, the teleporter never appears past this point in the series, probably because the introduction takes quite a while to happen, and it would have eaten up time from the actual episode plot. Another interesting deviation is Man-at-Arm's demeanor. Now, yes, in many consequent episodes, Duncan does get upset when Orko screws around his workshop and does his dangerous party tricks. However, for the most part, Duncan is a very jovial fellow and only ever gets mad once Orko has done something wrong, and when he's facing off against the bad guys. Therefore, it's notable how pissed Duncan looks even before Orko's done his magic trick in this episode, which ends up with eggs falling on him. Good old Orko! Another quite subtle but interesting deviation is the fact that when the sorceress arrives to warn the heroes of Skeletor's attack, she's taken the form of the Falcon Zoar. She also communicates with Duncan telepathically. Now, both of these elements aren't that unusual. In fact, in a number of episodes, the sorceress is able to call He-Man and the other characters all the way from Grayskull. Which kind of begs the question of why she would even risk leaving Grayskull at all. Oh well, maybe she does it for the exercise. I mean, you can't maintain that hourglass figure with just magic. But enough rambling. The point is, rather than have the sorceress speak through a voiceover, Duncan apparently is the only one who hears the sorceress's telepathy and has to tell Orko what she's saying. I'm not at all surprised that they didn't reuse this element in later episodes though, since just having Linda Gary do the voiceover makes a hell of a lot more sense than characters just parroting whatever it is that she showed up there to tell them. And the last and most obvious giveaway that this is a pilot episode, of course, is Skeletor's ass. Axe. I meant axe. In every other episode, the bone-headed master of Snake Mountain uses the Havoc Staff, which was foregone entirely in favor of what is, ironically, a far more traditional He-Man weapon. And I do have to admit that Skeletor looks pretty rad with an axe. But I do have to confess that the Havoc Staff is way more iconic. Well, there you go. I hope you found that interesting. Until next time, I have the power, so can you.